Right, joining me now to clear all this up is Tricia McLaughlin. She's the Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs at the Department of Homeland Security. Tricia, great to have you on the show. Appreciate it. Look, nobody wants killers and rapists and violent gang members in this country, but why not just tell us who you deported? It would be a big win for you to release their names and their mugshots and the photographs of their tattoos.
Well, absolutely, Elizabeth, and we are. And I can tell you exactly who was on those planes. It was murderers, rapists, child abusers, kidnappers, drug dealers, people who should not have been in this country in the first place. And by the way, these people also have final deportation orders from federal judges, so they should not be in this country. They have evaded the law for far too long, and the Trump administration under President Trump and Secretary Noem is finally getting these criminal aliens out of our country.
But you must know the names of the people you deported. Why aren't you releasing those names? You continue to say what you just said. They're murderers, rapists, and killers, but you don't provide a single name of a single person you deported on these flights.
We will absolutely be providing names shortly. But I think the bottom line is the media is very concerned about doing the bidding of Tren de Aragua and these other vicious gangs, but we're not actually being asked a single question about the victims of these crimes, those children and individuals who were kidnapped, those individuals whose family has had a person be murdered. Why are we less concerned about the American victims in our own homeland than they are about doing the bidding of these vicious gangs? That's what I don't understand about the media right now, Elizabeth.
I don't think the media, I can't speak for the media writ large, I can only speak for myself. I'm not concerned remotely for Tren de Aragua. But I can't investigate the victims of the crimes if you don't tell me who they are or what the criminal is, who the criminal is. You haven't provided a single name or a single crime, an instance of a single crime. You just say they did all this stuff, but you've provided no proof of that. I would love to go out and interview the victims of those crimes, Tricia. That would be, I would love to do it.
I just gave you a list of the crimes. Elizabeth, I just gave you a short list of some of the crimes. Again, all of these individuals have final deportation orders. There is a process in place, Elizabeth, and we will be revealing those names at the correct time.
When will that be?
When law enforcement are safe and out of harm's way. We have seen way too much leaking of information, and it puts our law enforcement in peril. So we are wise to actually have a process in place that cartels and Tren de Aragua members are not able to go after our law enforcement and foil operations. And those operations, by the way, Elizabeth, include flights out of the country and into these third countries.
So, but if these guys are all in this maximum security prison in El Salvador, why is it still a security risk to release their names?
Because, Elizabeth, there could very well, we are doing more and more deportation, so more is coming. You cannot pretend like this is not a large cartel where there's different nexuses and they can locate law enforcement agents in the area and in the localities. That's something that is our top priority, and that could be not only foil our operations, but also really put these law enforcement agents at risk. Something we're not willing to compromise on. Again, there is a process in place. I've given you a list of just a few of the crimes that have been committed against Americans, against children, against innocent people. And the Trump administration, Secretary Noem, President Trump won't stand for this on American soil. That's why they're in El Salvador.
I think nobody wants those crimes happening on this soil, but you haven't given me a single example of a single specific crime. As I said, I would love to go do a story on one of those crime victims, but until you tell me what the crime is, you can't, you're just saying they've committed all these terrible, horrific crimes. You're not telling me who committed them or against whom.
Well, I would absolutely encourage NewsNation and yourself to be covering more of this migrant crime, this illegal alien crime.
We cover it all the time, Tricia, on this show and on this network. We cover migrant crime all the time. We break news on this all the time.
When our law enforcement is in the position that they are safe and out of harm's way and we can be releasing these names, we will give it to you first, Elizabeth.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.